Zoom. There. Good morning, dear Dharma friends. I see several of you I haven't seen in a while. How nice for you to reappear. Jim, would you speak to me and see if we can have sound at this end?
All right. Good morning, Robert.
No. That's I had such a nice conversation with the fellow at tech support. Let me see if I can do this. Hang on, please. All right. What if I did this? Oh, I see. What if this went to be? Would you say something?
Okay, we'll start again.
Whoa.
Good morning, Robert.
Do you have an incredible echo? That's wild. Try this. Hello, Jim.
Hello there.
Well, how about
Can you
now?
hear me?
Okay, I can do that. It's a bit weird, but so am I. Well, the date is oh my goodness, it's July 1st. It's a very dry July 1st here in Portland, Oregon. They have wisely banned the use of fireworks. Interestingly, they haven't closed any of the fireworks sales places. Kind of complicated, I think. So, this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And I usually begin with a poem and then sing or speak the refuges. And then we sit. We practice being present for a while. Very simple. And my iPad, I could put power into it. That's what I could do. My iPad is about to die. There we go. I think that's good. This is a poem that was spoken spontaneously and written down by someone else about close to 1,000 years ago. It was spoken in a place that's now called, forgetting the name, how silly. Anyway, it's where Rumi discovered awakeness and created the Sufis. Funny, I can't remember the name. His tomb is there. So it goes like this. I'll just read it once. It's a little long. Once in the city of Saba. Wait, I have to record. There it goes.
Recording in progress.
Once in the city of Saba, there was a glut of wealth. Everyone had more than enough. Even the bath stokers wore gold belts. Huge grape clusters hung down on every street and brushed the faces of the citizens. No one had to do anything. You could balance an empty basket on your head and walk through any orchard, and it would fill by itself with overripe fruit. Dropping into it, stray dogs strayed in lanes full of thrown-out scraps with barely a notice. The lean desert wolf got indigestion from the rich food. Everyone was fat and satiated with all the extra. There were no robbers. There was no energy for crime or for gratitude, and no one wondered about the unseen world. The people of Saba felt bored with just the mention of prophecy. They had no desire of any kind, maybe some idle curiosity about miracles, but that was it. This over-richness is a subtle disease. Those who have it are blind to what's wrong and deaf to anyone who points it out. The city of Saba cannot be understood from within itself. But there is a cure, an individual medicine, not a social remedy. Sit quietly and listen for a voice from within that will say, "Be more silent." As that happens, your soul starts to revive. Give up talking in your positions of power. Give up the excessive money. Turn toward the teachers and prophets who don't live in Saba. They can help you to grow sweet again and fragrant and wild and fresh and thankful for any small event. This over-richness is a subtle disease. Those who have it are blind to what's wrong and deaf to anyone who points it out. The city of Saba cannot be understood from within itself. But there is a cure, an individual medicine, not a social remedy. Sit quietly and listen for a voice from within that will say, "Be more silent." As that happens, your soul starts to revive. Give up talking and your positions of power. Give up the excessive money. Turn toward the teachers and prophets who don't live in Saba. They can help you to grow sweet again and fragrant and wild and fresh and thankful for any small event. That's a nice last line, isn't it? And thankful for any small event. Perhaps like the aliveness of the body right now. There's something totally mysterious happening here. There's awareness. There's consciousness. There is this moment of contact with the cushion or the chair, the floor. There's this moment of seeing and hearing. It's really easy to take consciousness and life for granted. It's just how it is, so why should I pay attention? Let us conjure up a few moments of gratitude. Gratitude, which is the antidote for a sense of lack and hard done by, not fair. I slept in a warm, cozy bed last night. We do lock the doors, but this neighborhood is pretty darn safe. Good fortune. Not true for everyone. There was coffee again this morning. Good coffee. The legs were working well enough to walk across the backyard quite successfully. All the technology is working so I can see you. How wonderful. And to top all that off, here we are sitting in the sunshine of the Dharma. The light of mindfulness opening us, revealing us to ourselves. Noticing that there is breathing in and breathing out. Resting in this breathing in and breathing out. There may be lots to do later today. Your to-do list may be really long. There may be some urgency to some of the items on it. But right now, they don't exist. Right now, there's just this moment. It's such a relief to recognize that our task, if there even is one, is so simple. Be awake. Notice the aliveness of the body. Notice what the mind is doing. Are the hindrances in blossom? Perhaps it's a moment for a large crop of restlessness and agitation and worry, or maybe a doubt attack. Or maybe it's some wanting or not wanting, disliking. Remembering that we don't have to get rid of anything. It's all going away all the time by itself. Even the most tenacious thought and worry is coming and going moment by moment. So let us ground in in-breathing and out-breathing. Sound comes unpleasant, and then it's gone. The individual remedy Listen for a voice from within that will say, be more silent, be more curious. Let each and every breath invite you into fully incarnating, fully engaging with this life. What if there were nothing more that you need to learn? No more theory about how to practice. No more descriptions of what you want to experience. What if there were just a willingness to be right here? What if you were willing to give up all the fantasies of how the future will be? All the regrets and evaluation of how the past was? And there were simply this: breathing in and out, sitting, When the mind wanders off, into its familiar or unfamiliar habits, at some point, mindfulness will manifest. It will become apparent that the thoughts, the emotions, are objects of consciousness, of awareness. They have no enduring reality. No matter how painful, no matter how pleasant. Sounds may arise at this end. There are sirens. They get louder and louder and then they pass. They're not coming here this time. And then they're gone. Once again, not my business. Practicing the remedy to suffering. Embracing in-breathing and out-breathing. you might discover that there's tension in the body, maybe squinching up of the eyebrows or some holding in the gut, a clenching of a fist. Anywhere that voluntary tension can be encountered, we simply let it go. We don't need to figure out why it's there. We just soften into now. One attribute of the awakening heart-mind is love, metta. And in love, there's room for everything. So we let there be room here and now for whatever exists. Self-acceptance, not something to plan for, something to be right now. And to accept this that we experience and call myself in all its unfinishedness, in all its painfulness. Accepting the body wherever it is in its life course. Being compassionate, being present, accepting. And please now let us notice where the body touches the cushion or the floor, the chair. And let's create a fantasy of the future. Something maybe that you're planning to do today, meeting with someone, cleaning out the refrigerator finally. Going for a walk, being at your computer. Imagine yourself doing it with great gentleness, great kindness, great curiosity. How can I stay awake while I do this? What can I choose to pay attention to? And now, right here, let us open awareness to include the entirety of the body. This cloud of sensations, which is the body. And notice the nature of mind right now. Is it a mind that's very silent, or is it very busy thinking? Opening. And bringing awareness into the eyes. And now noticing the intention to open the eyes. And then operationalizing that intention, letting them open, making the effort of will. Seeing. And if all is well in the eyes, there will be objects. If the eyes are functioning, if the brain is functioning, if you're alive, if there's consciousness, seeing. And seeing something rather particular. Each other. And we can get lost in associative thought very easily. Or we could pick one of these faces and remember that this person is actually living a life. There's a little white dog just opened the door. He's going to his little memory foam bed. But to see this person on the screen, you probably don't know the details. But this is someone who is really worthy of your love. If you were together, you might be inclined to say, I'd like to just listen for half an hour. Would you tell me who you are? And then they might do the same. Who are you? Who do you think you are? What's your story? How much do you believe your story? I believe mine quite a lot. What are the great joys in your life? What are the great sorrows? Just any one of these faces, right? And so we come together to remind ourselves of this, of being awake. Still have our particularity, our personness, but it's a bit less convincing. It's funny, the thoughts that come to mind. So I don't think I have to do any announcements. Do I, Jim? Is there anything I have to announce? Oh, now I don't have any sound. That's fun. I do now, I think. Shoot. Please bear with me, darn it. I'm going to turn that off. How weird. I thought I understood it yesterday when the tech support guy was with me. What if I did this? Preferences? And if I put this to... Is that going to work? Huh. Oh boy. Just a little frustration here. Let me see. Can I get this to work? Testing. Oh. Can you hear me? Will you say... But I can't hear Jim. I'm going to try this. This is really... Jim? Oh, I can hear you. Okay. Yes. I didn't say, oh shit, once. So, did you say there's nothing I need to announce, Jim? Okay, great. So, my dear friends, friends in the Dharma, that's such a nice sound. Friends who are willing to stop and look at ourselves. Precious friends. Here's my little white dog again. He likes coming and going. there's the people. He doesn't like being held. Let me free. He'll put up with it, but all right. Oh, thank God. You let me down. I'm out of here. Breakfast is still to come. Oh, that other little dog heard Buddha. How funny. Oh, is it the dog show? Hello, Bee, I see you. What's my relationship to the future 5 minutes from now? I'd like to be as awake and loving and conscious as I can. I just had a memory. Funny way to put it. There was just a memory. I think this actually, quote, happened. 2 summers ago, Joanna Macy came to town for her last trip to the Northwest. She taught at PIMC. She taught a day. I wasn't going to come. I was going to be away camping with Jennifer 5 or 6 hours away, and it turned out there was smoke where we were going to go, so we were a mere 2.5 hours away. And the night before, Jennifer said, "You have to go." So I did. Got up really early in the dark and drove and went home and got a shower. And as I drove up, there was Joanna walking down the street, arm in arm with a friend of mine. And funny, I hadn't presumed she would remember me, but she did, and we had a wonderful greeting. And then she did her thing, her beautiful thing. If you're not familiar with Joanna Macy, look her up on YouTube and look up Joanna Macy Tibetan Prophecy. That's really worth listening to. It's called the Shambhala Warrior Prophecy. Anyway, she did her beautiful thing in the morning, and we connected, and then everyone went in the living room for lunch, and she sat in her chair at the front. And I went up and sat at her feet I had one hand on her foot and one hand on her knee. She put her hands on mine, and I started to cry because I said, Joanna, it looks really bad to me. I think we're past the fail-safe point. Right? I don't think we're going to turn this climate thing around. And I think it may well be the end for us humans and many other species. So and I said something like, I don't have a lot of hope. She patted my hand and said, the Buddha wasn't much for talking about hope. And then she said, what if it is the end for human beings? Isn't it extraordinary that you find yourself in a position to practice being loving and compassionate and helping others be loving and compassionate while it all ends? So, what is our responsibility to the future? I make sense of as I want to be as loving and compassionate and caring as I can. And any actions I can take that will make the future more palatable, less painful, more cooperative. I think though it behooves me to be deeply engaged with, that's a lot of noise. I start early with the weed trimmers. So does that make sense? Does that address what you're asking at all? Well, I think what she was referring to is there is no hope for any of us. We're all walking toward our death. It may be today, it may be next month, it may be 2 years or 5 years, but none of us get out of this alive. And hang on, I'm going to close the door. And I just thought of a poem. In fact, I want to read it. It just happens to be in my book, which is available also on Audible, I would like to say. I got a huge royalty payment the other day. It was $19.40. It's just... It only cost about $2,100 to rent the recording studio to do the recording. All right. Chapter 5. The Eightfold Path, or The Path to Happiness. And this is a poem by Jennifer Wellwood, who you might know secondarily as the life partner of John Wellwood, who wrote those beautiful books about relationship as a path to wholeness. Were certainly worthy reads. And she has a little book of poetry. But this is the poem. My friends, let's grow up. Let's stop pretending we don't know the deal here. Or if we truly haven't noticed, let's wake up and notice. Look, everything that can be lost will be lost. It's simple. How could we have missed it for so long? Let's grieve our losses fully, like ripe human beings. But please, let's not be so shocked by them. Let's not act so betrayed as though life had broken her secret promise to us. Impermanence is life's only promise to us. And she keeps it with ruthless impeccability. To a child, she seems cruel, but she is only wild. And her compassion is exquisitely precise. Brilliantly penetrating, luminous with truth, she strips away the unreal to show us the real. This is the true ride. Let's give ourselves to it. Let's stop making deals for a safe passage. There isn't one anyway, and the cost is too high. We are not children anymore. The true human adult gives everything for what cannot be lost. Let's dance the wild dance of no hope. So my, I, me, my, I keep hearing those words, this person has an aspiration to be here and to really be alive and to live as best I can within the precepts, to share as best I can the Dharma, to be loving, to be playful. And my belief is that we each leave a wake behind us. It's our karmic wake. And it's like a boat's wake affects everybody on the lake. And I think our wake affects everyone on the planet, really. We leave behind us a wake. And it's funny, the thoughts that come up. I was traveling through an airport. I had family with me. I think we must have been going to Florida. And I went to Starbucks. And there was a Muslim woman working there. She was wearing I forget the name of the scarf, and so I started my order with Assalamu alaikum. And she responded appropriately. And it was at one of those times when the horrors of Donald Trump were blatantly available. And I said, I'm so sorry that our country is so ignorant about Islam. And we both got teary. And I got my coffee and I went, and I was thinking, that's a nice wake to leave behind. So that's what I'd like to do for the future. Deliver water to homeless people, or spend a little more time trying to pay attention to Jennifer, or being here and trying to be as open as I can. Any more to that be? Thank you for the question. I hope the response is useful. Mm-hmm. Does that weed eater come through for you? Can you hear it? Yeah. Stopped. Good. Damn, it's back. Mr. David. Do you mean there's more than that one school? They're finding it at other schools? What? Jesus. Yeah. Why? Why be sorry? I know. So do I. Well, in the face of horror. Well, can we do anything except let our hearts break? Really? I didn't know they were finding other schools with the same issue. So we can deny and compartmentalize, but at a certain point that stops working, doesn't it? And so then I think I'm remembering being in the meditation hall with Stephen Levine and people talking about the tragedies in their lives and the horrors that they've experienced. And so I think we band together. Like right now, I feel very connected with you. And we acknowledge this shadow side of human nature, and it's in us. It's not like it's just some other people. We all have this in our pasts in a way. So to open to the horror of it and to feel it deeply, and then to remember where we are. We're right here. We're breathing. And we can import that horror and stay horrified all the time. Or we can feel it deeply and then realize, well, where is it now? Is it here? No. I am here, and I'll go on with my life. But I'll go on with my life with a tenderized heart. But it's hard when and the other thing is, of course, any trauma, any horrible thing that happens in the world that is at all resonant to our own personal traumas vibrates our own trauma. And so that then opens the door to more healing. How can I make more love and compassion for this person right here in response to that catastrophe there? Those schools were really something. Boy. Are they thinking that well, I don't need to know any details. I'll look them up. Wow. Holy shit. I'm not sure why, but the other day I came across a video smuggled out of Tigray. And it was soldiers killing young men. And it really got me. It's like, wow, that happens. And so what do I do in a world where that happens? Well, I open to it as best I can. I seek comfort in the arms of my friends. And I recognize that that's the shadow side of human nature. And I could get myself in hot water with this, but it's not going anywhere. Right? It's always been with us, the shadow side, and it always will. It's part of humans. But it's part of us. How you doing right now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. In which case, turn off YouTube, turn off the news, lower the control rods. That the system can only handle the personal system can only handle so much. Uh-huh. Ah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The love around you. Yeah. And I want to, do I want to do this? I think I do. There's another door, which we're peeking behind. And it's what happened in America around slavery. It's monstrous. And as there is a movement to peeking behind the door, there's a tremendous reaction. Let's not talk about that let's ban critical race theory. Let's ban, because it's pulling off the blinders. And so I think important that we do it step by step and we really support each other. And, hello, Joanna, to be as loving and compassionate as we can. There was one more piece in that conversation with Joanna. At the PAMC Dharma Hall, there's a statue of Jizo in the corner. And Jizo is the archetypal figure of the patron saint, sort of pregnant women and people at crossroads. And it's more than that. But she said, in Tibet, in the Tibetan practice, he is represented by so-and-so. And she said, his job, his predilection is he takes birth in the darkest, deepest, most painful of the hells. The Tibetans have a whole hell, heaven system. And he goes there knowing he can't save anybody. but he can be a presence of love and compassion in the midst of the darkness. And that's encouraging to me in the midst of some of my darkness. To bring the Buddha there, to bring Kuan Yin there, to really be as loving and compassionate as we can. And to be conscious also, this is perhaps one last thing about, with this box in front of me, I can have live video probably of every tragedy or many of the tragedies that are happening on the planet today. And I can really overwhelm myself that way. Right? What about the floods in Pakistan there's always these catastrophes happening. So titrating the dose is like, okay, that's as much as I can have in here for a day or two or three. Okay, David? Mm. Mm. You sounded Canadian there for a second. You said about. People often identify me. It's like you got a little weird accent. What are you? Are you a Canadian? There's actually a cartoon I have about it. There's a couple sitting at a table, and he's saying, "You seem a little strange, almost normal, but there's just a little oddness. Are you by any chance Canadian?" So take care, David. Well, we're not staying in the shallows these mornings, are we? Yeah.
This amazing story, and he has.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Would you put his name and the book in the chat? Thanks, Jim. Well, is it okay to end soon, or is there more we need to say? We're in kind of deep territory. It's one of the dangers of this approach that we're not together. And so suddenly the broadcast ends and boom, we're alone in our own reality. We don't get to take someone's hand and go for a walk or sit in the corner and be held or something. I'm going to mute your thing, Jim. I got it. There we go. Well, shall we go out on Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam? Please unmute if you feel so inclined. May all beings, receive all blessings. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, dear, beautiful friends. We just need to record this and submit it somewhere and we'll be fine. Would someone stay on here with me for 3 or 4 minutes to experiment with the sound? I want to get this thing to work. Thank you, Kat. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming. I think I'll stop the recording there. All right. Goodbye. Yes, Shannon, hi. Oh, was it a very short poem? Here, not here? Oh, when someone deeply listens? Ah. Oh, that is such a gorgeous poem, isn't it? When someone deeply listens to you. Yeah. Oh, thank you for telling me. That's a nice piece of wake I wouldn't have known about. Thank you, my dear. Bye-bye. All right. Goodbye, Tamara. Hello, Linda Bud. I hope you are well this morning and happy and carefree and breaking some rules. Do you know Linda? All right. So, would you just... I didn't notice. Your hair is an art piece that's always in motion. So I the end is coming. All right. So let me, what to do here? I'm going to put this over here. This to Telestream. That's where it should be. All right. Would you say something now, please?
Good afternoon, Robert.
Okay,
I
now I
really love.
can't hear you at all. So let me see how can I hear you and still uh speak again, please.
Good afternoon, Robert. How are you? Or good morning, Robert.
Okay,
It's
keep
Thursday,
speaking
July
if you would.
1st.
Recite a nice poem or
Good.
something.
Recite a nice poem.
So then
Okay, I'll look up
how
some poems. Tony
so that's the
Collins,
way that works really well.
poet. That's not
How
his
the
name.
hell can
His
I
name
get
is Billy
this
Collins.
to
I can just keep
me
saying
sound
poetry. Billy Collins
if I made
poem.
this go to
Oh, let's do Aimless Love by Billy Collins. This morning,
hello,
tell me,
please speak.
this morning as I walked along the lake
Oh,
shore,
that's input, output. Aha.
I fell in love with a wren, and
Are
later
these
in the
on?
day,
Just a
with a
minute.
mouse, the cat had dropped under the dining room table. In the shadows of an autumn evening, I fell for a seamstress, still at her machine at the tailor's window, and later for a bowl of broth, steam rising like a smoke from a naval battle.
Huh.
This is the best kind of love, I thought, without recompense, without gifts or unkind words, without suspicion or silence on the telephone. The love of the chestnut, the jazz cap, and one hand on the wheel. No lust, no slam of the door. The love of the miniature orange tree.